Hi, everyone, and welcome to another powerful conversation with yet another powerful woman. I'm so excited to be joined by Carole Armitage today, not just because I love chocolate, but also because Carole is wonderful to talk to as well. So welcome, Carole.
Thank you very much. And of course, I like chocolate too.
Everyone who's not read any of the blurbs, like, why are they talking about chocolate already? So maybe you would like to explain about you and chocolate.
Oh, okay. So I'm Carole Armitage, obviously. I'm the founder of 18 Hour Ultra, which is a dark chocolate company. And so what we've done is we've created an 80% dark chocolate, but without the bitterness. So you're getting all the benefits of cacao, the dark chocolate, the serotonin, the dopamine, the magnesium, etc., but without sacrificing on any of the flavor. And the reason for that is because there is such a sliding scale of benefits when it comes to chocolate, from white chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate. And in our generations, or in generations anyway, we've been bombarded with the idea that chocolate is a luxury, it's a guilty treat, it's something we can only have, and then we have to run 5 miles to burn it off type thing.
Yeah.
But actually, when you look at the science and you look at the research, and even just going back to the history of what chocolate was about to begin with, it was all designed to be a superfood. It was good for you, and I want to change that narrative. And so one of the reasons why I started was because when I was younger, I suffer from low blood sugar levels and low blood pressure, and for me, chocolate was the go-to medicine to help me, give me that energy levels. But it was just so saturated with sugar and other ingredients that didn't necessarily work, that I was on a perpetual journey to find a really good hot chocolate. And I just couldn't find one. So I was just like, no, I need to find one, or at the end of the day, I'll make my own. And so after doing over 35 years worth of research, traveling around the world, trying to work out what works, what doesn't, how it works in different cultures, different societies, different arenas of sort of exercise and stuff like that, I kind of worked out that, dark chocolate is the way forward. It does contain all the benefits, but the majority of people don't like it because it's bitter. So I needed to find a way to sort of combat that. So when I found out there was a company that could help create my own, off I toddled to France to go into a lab, and basically sat down tasting out all the different types of dark chocolate within the different plantations available, and trying to work out what that I wanted from each different plantation, the flavor profile, so then we could create that. And that's how we came up with 18 Hour Ultra. So it was more scientific than looking at a plantation and picking it off the ground. It was more science led that way.
Yeah. Let me just check you can hear me okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just sometimes there's some issues. That's it's absolutely fascinating. I don't have you always had really good taste buds though? Because the thought of being somewhere where you've got to continuously keep trying and then being able to identify the different flavors feels a bit overwhelming.
Do you know what? I've never really thought about it. The only time it's come up is when I first created 18 Hour Ultra, and then a year later we found it had Cuban chocolate in it, or Cuban cacao, and then we stopped trading with them. So I had to actually create a new recipe, and that's when I suddenly panicked and went, am I a one chocolate wonder? And so I kind of had to do the whole process again and really get to grips with, actually, I do know what it is that I like, and I do know what works and what doesn't. And it's not just the flavor, it's how it tastes in the mouth. It's that smooth creaminess that you really want, and how when you put it together, it's how it makes you feel. And that, it's not necessarily as a flavor thing, it's more of an intuition type thing. And when I got the second iteration, the second recipe, it was good to know that it still won awards. And so I was like, yep, it's still on the right track. And weirdly, I had more people come back saying, is this a new chocolate? Because it tastes even nicer. So I was just like, oh, okay.
Wow.
It's actually worked in my favor that I created a better version. And it was actually 1% more cacao than the original one. So
that's incredible. Yeah.
So I was like, yes,
Yeah.
I can do this. I can keep making more versions of different recipes.
Yeah. And what I mean, obviously, I have tasted your chocolate. I have it in the cupboard, and I do genuinely love it. I'm not just saying it because you're there, but there's something about that experience of, you know, even counting out the buttons. I'm sure you don't really have to count them, but there's just something about putting them in the cup and the sound they make. I love drinking out of bone china. Because I do think it makes things taste different as well. I don't know why, but it does feel like it for me. But the sound of the buttons going into the cup, and then whisking it, and then the smells that hit your nose, and then when you drink it, it's because there's no milk in it, and I'm not adding milk. I haven't got any of that sort of claggy, phlegmy feeling afterwards. So it's just such a pure experience that is just divine.
Yeah. And I think that's what I wanted, because when I was younger, we were always brought up on the powdered drink, so you just added hot water anyway. So in my head, I never really thought of adding milk to it. I know that a lot of people do. So for me, I'm the same. I'll have it first thing in the morning, and I'll have an espresso cup. And my cup tends to be either yellow or orange, because apparently psychology-wise, orange makes the flavour sweeter. Don't know why, but apparently it does.
Wow.
So if you wanted a sweeter drink without putting more sweetness in, have a yellow cup or yellow and orange cup. But I do the same. I count the buttons, and I think it's the whole process of just getting into that moment of just calming yourself down and knowing that this is almost like a little ritual. It's a mindfulness moment where you're just concentrating on one thing. And then when, like you say, when the aroma does hit, it's all those that start triggering the senses. And it's not just, it's triggering your senses to increase serotonin and stuff like that, but it's also triggering memories of really positive moments within your history that culminate into you having this drink that helps relax. I think that sort of really brings it home to you.
It's absolutely fascinating, and I have been a huge fan of chocolate for a very long time, and tried to stick to over 80%. 100% I've tried in the past. I do have them in the cupboard, but I can't consume much of it, which is a good thing potentially as well. I remember once having, I can't remember where it was from now, but like a stack of different slabs of chocolate, and they were all from different places all over the world, and it gave you the tasting notes with it. But I mean, I just couldn't get over the difference in the taste profiles between, you know, South America and, you know, Asia or wherever they were from. It was just incredible.
But it's a lot like tea and coffee. A lot of the cacao is developed because of the grounds that it's in and the environment and the, you know, the weather, things like that. So it's all related. So it is very similar to having different degrees of coffee and tea and things. You get the same with cacao, because one of the things that I'm looking at trying to do further down the line is to create a nutty hot chocolate, but without the nuts. So using it purely from the cacao itself and trying to get that nutty flavor come through. So people on planes and things like that could have a nutty version of a hot chocolate if they wanted to. But also for people that do suffer from nut allergies and things like that, it's another way for them to embrace another drink that's available to them and other people. But knowing that there is such the capacity that cacao can give you, it's so broad that why not try and do it, you know? And it just adds to the product line really, and also the people can choose, do I want to have the plain version, as in just dark chocolate, or do I want it to have a nutty version? But again, you know that nothing extra has gone into it.
So you've mentioned a couple of times the health benefits of having dark chocolate. Can you share some of the top benefits with us?
So the main ones that I sort of work towards is more about the mental health and the well-being. So whether it's a case of creating that moment and ritual that just allows you to get off the treadmill of life and give you those 5 minutes of just being able to calm down, calm your senses. But from a scientific perspective, it is very good for reducing anxiety, reducing stress levels, calming your mind, but at the same time, depending on how you have it. So if you had it with hot water first thing in the morning, it works really well as a coffee replacement because it's got the stimulant that allows you to have clear focus and clarity, and it's great for cognitive I want to say impairment, but it's not. I can't remember what the word is. It improves cognitive something.
Yeah, I've gone with me too.
Yeah, I can't remember that next word. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's just say cognitive functions, but it does help, with memory and focus. Clearly doesn't help with mine because I can't remember the word. But let's just forget that. But it does. A lot of people who suffer from caffeine jitters and sort of that nervous energy, because obviously if you have one caffeine, you tend to have to keep having another to keep you going. Whereas with this, you can just have one and it will keep you going for the rest of the morning with that sort of clear mind focus. And also from a fitness perspective, it's really great to get you motivated. It starts to really improve your sort of circulation, metabolism, and get your energy levels up, but it doesn't give you that spike. So we've got 3 different training bars, and they're all designed specifically for either before exercise, during, and after. And the one during, you don't get a sugar spike. So if people are training for whatever reason, and they tend to have gels and things, their process is usually you have one gel and then every 30 minutes you have another.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, you don't need to, because it just continuously keeps the same energy levels. So you're basically working harder for longer because it opens up the blood vessels to allow all the oxygen through. So it does work in so many different ways, whether it's fitness, well-being, just general, packed with antioxidants, magnesium, potassium, the whole kit and caboodle. It got it all, really. It's just that there is a sliding scale. So you don't get the same benefits if you're going to be looking at a 40% as opposed to an 80%. So it's trying to just choose the right quality chocolate that you need for you, and recognizing in the sense of what it is that you're getting the benefits from. So for example, an 80%, you'll get the serotonin, the happiness, the feel good factors, because it's the cacao, and that's long lasting and that will keep you going. Whereas if you go for a white chocolate, milk chocolate, you will still get the feelings of euphoria and happiness, but it's coming from sugar. So it'll give you a massive dip at the end of it all as well. So that's kind of where the balance needs to be seen, is that the goodness is at the darker end, and so we're trying to move everybody to the dark side, but by compromising, by giving them the bridging that gap, so to remove the bitterness.
So I say a quick hello to Steph, who's saying hello to both of us in the chat, and also to Khaled as well. I did speak to Steph earlier, and she said that she had a very good conversation with you as well. So just going back to the sugar, what sort of percentage of sugar is in your bars, and how does that compare with just like a standard another 80% bar that might be a competitor to yours?
So ours has 2 grams of sugar in just a cup of hot chocolate, which in compared to others, they're looking at 20 grams. So there's a big difference in, we're 90% less sugar than any hot chocolate on the market. And especially if you're going to cafes and places like that, you're looking at around about 50 to 180% of your daily recommended amount of sugar in one hot chocolate in these places, whereas ours is 9%. So it's you choose your battle, really. And I think that's one of the things that I really want to sort of push forward and celebrate with the chocolate, because it is the way that the world is. It's very much consumerism, and just everything has to be supersized, and yet you don't need to. And that's what we've created, daily doses. So it's only 20-30% of your daily recommended amount of chocolate, and so it's a low amount of sugar that you're consuming from having this luxury drink or having the bar. So you're not in excess, and we're not contributing to the statistics for obesity, which are growing exponentially, and mindfulness and mental health issues that are sort of growing as well. We're trying to combat all of that by giving you something that is part of people's everyday luxury items, but we're making it better. So you're not sacrificing, you're getting all the luxury without any of the limits.
So I'm thinking we've got like the amazing product there. Where in your business are the biggest challenges? Are they around getting the message out there, getting people to buy in, getting it on the shelves?
All of it. To be honest, to begin with, I think the biggest thing was, I think still even now is education, is because we have been bombarded, with the bigger companies telling us that hot chocolate should taste like this. And because of that, when people do have a pure dark chocolate drink, or if they have chocolate drink, it's alien to people, and they're just like, no, that's not what it should be, because it should just taste like sugared water with a hint of chocolate, and that's what they know, and that's fine. But it's an education as to showing people what actually true hot chocolate or true chocolate should actually taste like. And another part is just, it's growing the brand, really. It's getting the word out there, getting it onto shelves, seeing what's possible, what's not possible. There's so many different challenges here, there, and everywhere. And I think that's the same with many businesses, especially in this sort of climate. It's because it's a product related company. It's all about having upfront money to be able to deliver, and putting in the marketing strategies and stuff like that is really quite time consuming and expensive. So that's why we're sort of looking at alternative ways to fund it and move forward. But it might not necessarily grow at the speed I want it to be, because it's just, I'm limited by what I can and can't do. But we're always looking at ways to try and think outside the box and do things and collaborate. That's why, collaborating with people like yourself and other people, and just getting the word out there, and changing the dynamic about what people think, and seeing what we can do, really.
And that's not easy, because we are creatures of habit, and even whether we like it or not, our unconscious mind controls what we do. So it's quite a lot of reprogramming that needs to be done to help that. I do love it that my 15-year-old daughter loves it though as well.
Very
and
good.
she loves dark chocolate, and she loved the hot chocolate when I made her a cup. And I think that's really encouraging, because then she then starts to grow up in a generation where it does feel more normal, and she's not reaching for the high sugar content, low quality bars that are out there. So
I think it's interesting. No, I do think it's interesting, and I think there has been a shift in the way people are thinking. From the couple of years when I first launched, it was very much those two binaries, like very much like Marmite, you either love it or you hate it. And people were very much, no, it's too much sugar, and they wouldn't even contemplate it without even thinking, because that's what they've been taught to believe. And yet the other side is kind of like, oh, well, I'm open to it, I'll see what happens. Whereas now, I was at a show not that long ago, and prior to that, I wouldn't have had any children trying it or anything of the sort, but every single child from the age of even like 2 years old to 15 were all trying it. And there was only one, bless her, who tried it, and who was clearly a white chocolate fan, was like, no, but she tried it. And that's what I love, is that change. And it's coming from the parents, because the parents are then now beginning to realize that there is value in dark chocolate. It is better for you, and it means that you can have something that you really love and enjoy it, and not feel guilty about it. So I'm going to teach my children the better ways, and it's obviously feeding through, which is great. It is happening.
No, definitely.
More of.
No, exactly. So what are you most proud of in your chocolate journey so far?
What am I most proud of? Just creating it, I think. I'm just putting it for years I've always said, oh well, I'm gonna have to make my own. Oh, I'm gonna have to make my own, and never really put two and two together. And then all of a sudden, everything just went wrong in my life, and I just thought, well, you know what? I've got nothing to lose. Why don't I just give it a go? And the fact that I've managed to go from, well, one day I'm going to make it, to actually creating the hot chocolate of my dreams is probably my biggest success. And the fact that I've done it twice, is even more impressive for me. And I'm just so proud. You see so many companies, and it's the one thing that always worried me before I set up the company is like, could I be the person that could I practice what I preach? Because we always say, yes, we're going to do this, but do we actually do it? And I was always worried, because when I was trialing it with other people's chocolate, you wouldn't get me eating that every single day because I just didn't like it. Whereas when I have mine, I literally have it every single day. It's the first thing I wake up to. It's my routine. I wake up, I make myself a hot chocolate. And when I don't, and because I've rushed off for whatever reason, there's something not quite in my day. It makes my day not quite feel on track. And so for me, I love that I actually embody the whole of what this is all about. It is all about trying to improve your mental health. It's giving you a moment of peace and calm, and to be able to reset your mind and give you that luxury without any sort of guilt or anything like that. And it does improve. So that's my kind of biggest win, I think. Everything else on top of that is absolutely incredible. But the fact that I've actually managed to go from, I'm going to, create my own, to doing it and living by it is probably my biggest win, I think.
No, I love that. I love that. And it must feel really, really, really special to have created that, and then to be sharing it with others as well.
And it's funny though, isn't it? Because I think there's so many of us that have that imposter syndrome, and I it's getting better, but it's still there. And you just, whenever somebody tries it for the first time, there's always that, oh, no, will they like it? Will they not? Oh my God, have I told them all of this for no reason? And they're just going to go, oh no, it's horrible. And you're just like, oh.
No, I get that. I do. So what's ahead in the next, say, 12 months, 3 years for 18 Noir Ultra?
So there's a few things that we're kind of in the pipeline with that I'm hoping to announce in the next week or so I can't talk about that. But the aim, my big goal is to be part of the Olympics. So be a supporter for the Olympics from a nutritional side of things, from the energy side, so sort of the fitness performance side of things. That's my goal, but there's a few things before that we're looking at trying to be part of as well. One of the main things that we're looking at the moment is to try and just get into more stores and be more accessible and more available for people to be able to just go into the shop and purchase it. Because yes, COVID was great for online shopping, but now that everything's opened up, the trend is more that people are going back into shops. So we want to sort of follow that trend and be available for people. So that's something that we're really looking at. And also my hot chocolate trailer will be coming out finally. And so she'll be going to events and hopefully being seen and spreading the word as well. And looking at trying to do a world record with her at some point next year, to sort of have a bit of fun with it.
And is that you that takes your chocolate trailer out with you?
I don't know at the moment. It's still umming and ahhing as to whether I'll start. I think I'm hoping her first inaugural event will be in August, so hopefully that will be a big thing that we can sort of talk about soon. But then after that, it will be a case of either doing it for events or corporate events and things like that. So really looking at how to sort of spread the word. But another point that I've just suddenly remembered is that we're also looking at doing a scientific study to prove that our chocolate does actually improve sleep, mental health, focus within the sort of work environment and things. So working with Roehampton University to do a few studies. So at the end of it all, we can actually what wholeheartedly confirm, or
Yeah.
either way, but hopefully confirm
Yeah.
that yes, it is a success and it will improve sleep. So hopefully we can then go into hotels and sort of long haul flights and stuff like that. But it's all very well and good. There's so much research out there at the moment, but it'd be nice to be able to have it that it's specific to the actual chocolate itself.
Yeah.
Have it as a testimony and go, yes, we've proven, we've done the hard work, and we can actually verify that this is really good for you. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I trust that that the results will be in your favor, because I can't see how they wouldn't be. I just really can't. Even like the psychological, like the taste profile, that whole experience, how that couldn't come out in the results. I just don't get how that wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I mean, it would be interesting, because that's one of the things. I mean, I used to obviously work in banking, so for me, the amount of mental health challenges that happen within the banking world is growing, to be honest. And so part of the research that I want to do is to work with a bank in order to be able to see how we can improve employees' daily work, and their stress levels and things. And if it does mean that maybe a hot chocolate would actually help in the first thing in the morning or in the afternoon, and give them that, lower their stress levels, allow them to have a good night's sleep so they can work more efficiently, then I would much prefer to put that in place, because I've been there, done that, and I've come out with all the the burnouts and stuff like that. So if I can help somebody or some people in there to reduce those levels, then I'll do everything I can.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So what would be the one piece of advice that you would give somebody who wanted to start on a similar sort of journey, where they have this dream that they've had since childhood, and they just need a little bit of a push over the starting line, if you like?
I would say there's two things. One is, don't wait for the right time, because there's no such thing. Just do it, because you'll never find the right time. If it's a case, if you've got no money, if you've got, but whatever the reasons are, just start doing it, because the moment you start talking about it, you will suddenly find all these people that suddenly have all these extra skills that you've never even noticed before, willing to help you. And that is just an amazing thing that happened when I started. And the other one is to purely have the passion, to make sure that it's genuinely your love, because if you don't, that's the one thing that I think will fall down on. So the life of an entrepreneur, I think a lot of people kind of go, yeah, it's amazing, and when you're flying high and somebody said yes to something and it's amazing and you're feeling like, yes, I'm on top of the world, it's absolutely incredible. But more often than not, you're in the other phase, which is grinding, hearing no's, or trying to open up new doors that don't even exist yet, or trying to find ways. And it's just that stress and heartbreak half the time, that it's the passion and the desire to do something and spread the word and to do something better is what will keep you going. And it's the thing that will make you wake up the next day and just keep pushing through all of it, to know that you have something to say and you have a voice, and this voice needs to be heard, and it needs that passion. Otherwise you'll fail at the first hurdle, to be honest. Unfortunately, I think that's the key, to be honest, is there's never the right moment to start something, and make sure that you are 100% passionately in love with it all, because that is the driving force behind any of the ups and downs and the good.
Yeah, and I think that's a very, very wise piece of advice there. I totally and utterly believe that is the point. And I think that's one of the elements of the Ikigai framework, for example, is that it's got to be that perfect combination of your passion and your skills and everything. You have to be able to get up in the morning and know why you're doing what you're doing, which is hard. And it's not even, sometimes it's hard to even uncover and articulate what that passion is.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't know that my passion was chocolate. It sounds like a strange one, but people have always known me to be buying the hot chocolate when I was younger and things. And I didn't consciously know what I was doing, why I was doing it. And when I was going through badminton and things like that, I literally had a map of the UK of where the good hot chocolates were, because I just refused to go to any of the other places because I was like, nope, it's a waste of calories. I'm not doing it. But it's all led to where I am now. And I didn't know that until I suddenly was just like, well, you know what, I am really interested in it. So, but how do you go from just being really interested in it to doing something about it? And I think just taking those steps into the world. And for me, it was very much just trying to understand chocolate a little bit more. Yes, I'd done what I'd done before, but then going on courses to learn about the science behind it, the tempering, to understand how to make chocolates and bonbons and the ganaches and stuff like that. That's then led me to, I don't want to do that. I want my own hot chocolate. That's how I filtered it down. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to know the full story. You just have to know that if something, so for example, if you're really good at drawing or art or something, go to courses, do that, and then maybe you'll find your niche and narrow it down. And maybe it's to do with creating sculptures or something like that, that's slightly out of it, but you don't know unless you try. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's also that sort of diversity of thought, isn't it? Like diversity of experiences. It's until you've tried something, you don't realize that all these dots connect together and they build up into something that is, previously didn't even think about. It's fascinating, really, really fascinating.
I've jumped from jobs to jobs, doing different things here, there, and everywhere. From my background being one playing professional badminton to doing art and doing marketing and media and photography, and then going into banking. But every single part of it has led me, and I've taken extracts from that to do the job that I can do now, which is the chocolate. So it's all come into it, even though when you're doing it, you kind of go, why am I here? Why am I doing this job? There is a reason for it. You just might not know it at the moment. So unless it's a terrible thing and you're really uncomfortable doing it, then there's a reason why you're doing it. You just might not be aware of it yet. So
yeah, that definitely resonates with me. I've had my own squiggly journey, so definitely, and it does. There is something from every element of it that is really useful.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Well, I'm conscious that we've been talking for over half an hour and it flew by at a rate of knots, which hopefully means that everybody listening has really enjoyed the conversation as much as I've enjoyed having it with you. So thank you so much for joining us. I will put in the show notes, or they're already in there, links to you and to your company where people can order your chocolate. Is there any other way that people can get in touch with you, find out more?
At the moment, it's just if they put it into they can DM me, but also just so we know, because it's my birthday tomorrow, but there is a birthday discount. Yes. So if you put in the code, I forgot it, birthday gift, you get 45% off, because that's how old I will be. So I figured celebrate it with a discount. So if you haven't tried it, try it. But yes, if you just email me or go online, that's the best way to do it at the moment.
Fabulous. So I wish you a very happy birthday for tomorrow as well. I hope it's lots of fun and full of chocolate.
Here's hoping.
Thank you, Carole. I've loved talking to you.
Thank you very much.